Okay, we're back, and as you can see, we are in Google. And in my Google search bar, I have conducted a search for Minneapolis plumber. There are over 450,000 search results. And again, just a review of Google here. The first 3 listings are ads. So that's Google AdWords. And if we go down a little bit further, we can see a map, and we have 3 locations listed here. And this is Google Plus Local, which some people also refer to as Google Maps or Google Places. So in our map, we have Uptown Plumbing, Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, and Ron the Sewer Rat. Great name, huh? If we go down just a little bit more, notice that Ben Franklin Plumbing is number 1 in the Google search results, and they are number 2 in Google Plus Local. So this particular company really kind of has it, down pretty good. The second search result is Yelp. And the very first one in Yelp is Eric Nelson Plumbing. And Eric Nelson Plumbing is also ranked number 3 in Google search results. So already at the top, we're seeing a couple of plumbers here that are doing quite well in the mapping and review websites. So pretty good. And as you go down, you can see some other plumbing companies. Here is Angie's List, so we have another review website. We have a BBB website. And that's one of the things that local businesses run into, especially service businesses and restaurants, is their competition may not necessarily be another plumber, but their competition for search engine rankings is going to be review websites. So BBB, Angie's List, and Yelp have taken up 3 of the top 10. So we have to compete with that. Then let's go to page number 2. So these are websites that are ranked number 11 through number 20. And we're going to look at this particular website, Dean's Professional Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Drains. So it's deansplumbing.com. And it looks like they are ranked number 11, 12, 13, 14. So let's jump in and take a look at this website. And this is Dean's Plumbing. Now, a couple of things to kind of review here, first of all, is in our particular website, if you look at the page title, and this will vary from browser to browser, but in this case, if we look in the page tab here, and I'm on a Macintosh, his page title is his URL. So we're kind of missing maybe an opportunity here to focus a little bit more on the keyword Minneapolis, because this particular company, they are trying to get customers in St. Paul, Minneapolis, North Metro, and St. Cloud. So he's got Minneapolis listed here, which is good, but they're really missing out on the page title opportunity. So let's kind of go behind the scenes. Now, depending on what browser you use, and if you're on Windows or Mac, you can see the source code behind the page, sometimes by going to View in the menu bar and choosing Source Code. I'm on a Macintosh right now, and I'm using Safari, so I have Develop in the menu bar, and here I'm going to choose Show Page Source. So we're going to go behind the scenes a little bit here, and we're going to get a little geeky. Now, we can always see the website at the top, and down here at the bottom, we actually see the source code. Now, we're only looking for some specific things, so we won't get too far down into the HTML and other code behind the page. But the first thing that I notice here is he's using in this particular page some old meta tag code, and he is trying to focus on Plumbers Minneapolis and St. Paul, and this particular page title is a good page title. But the problem is he has it in the wrong area. This right here is where he wants to have the page title. So where he's created the title, it's inserted within old meta tag code. And right here, where I've put my mouse clicked right between these two codes, title, caret, this is where this particular page title, instead of it being here, it needs to be placed right here. And if he does that, when he saves his website, then the page title that is appearing up here at the top in the page title area of the website tab will actually show Plumbers Minneapolis. Now, some SEO experts say, oh, well, that's not a big deal. Well, if page titles count for 0.1% in all the factors that make up search engine rankings, that could be, in my opinion, the one extra little thing that you need in order to make your website go from number 11 to number 10. All right. Now, the other thing that I notice here, and it's nowhere in the code, is that there's not a true page description tag. And that would be such as this, but it would be page description. And it usually would go right in here, and that also seems to be missing. So he's missing two big opportunities in his page code that might help him go up a little higher. All right, I'm going to close the tag code now. Click on this little X, and we're back in the page. Now, the other thing that I think is a big factor here on his homepage is if you notice whenever I rest my mouse on text, my mouse still looks like a little hand with a finger pointing up. That means these are images. And the most important thing is right here are licensed Minneapolis plumbing professionals. Well, although to the reader it looks like it's text, to the search engine, this is an image. So his text here is kind of going to waste. And that's a shame because he's using the keyword Minneapolis lots of times to focus on plumbing, heating and cooling, air conditioning, so forth and so on. But it's all for naught because in all these cases, this is an image and it's not true text. Whereas if I go down a little bit further in the page, this is text, so that's good. But here he's talking about Minnesota. One time is Minneapolis. So there's probably not enough on this page in terms of talking about Minneapolis in order to get this page ranked higher in search engines. All right. Now, a couple other things here. He does have a blog, which is good. And he has some drop-down menus in which he's focusing on some specific areas of service. But I want to show you one more thing that's kind of interesting, and that is the service area. And this is a lot of things that service companies try to do in order to get ranked higher in search engines. Now, specifically looking at his plumbing, and again, he's plumbing in Minnesota, and that's because he's trying to cover all these particular areas. So he's going from Minneapolis, which is our keyword, all the way to Rogers and all the way down here to Lakeville. And the problem is, for these professional service industries, it's hard to get optimized in all these cities within one particular website. Because if you mention every single city over and over and over and over again, it's like you're stuffing your page with cities in order to get ranked higher in Google. Let's go over and click on this link, Plumbers in the Twin Cities. Now, this is common. I see this a lot. And this is how he's trying to get optimized in all these cities, is he's basically saying plumbing services in, and as you notice, they have listed all of these particular cities. So let's pick one at random. How about Maple Grove? Now, this isn't bad, and I work with a heating and cooling company who is not a competitor of Dean's Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. But what this guy is doing with his website instead of going over and over and over again about mentioning Maple Grove, is they wrote a little bit about Maple Grove here, and they wrote a little bit about their own plumbing services in Maple Grove. And chances are this block of text might be repeated on other city pages within his website, and they just replace Maple Grove with the name of another city. This particular section here is probably unique to the page because it talks specifically about Maple Grove. Now, there's one thing that he can do to make this better, and that is talk more about Maple Grove and talk less about yourself. Reverse these two sections and give me some more content about Maple Grove, Minnesota. That will help this page get ranked higher, which in turn is going to help this keyword, Maple Grove plumbers, potentially get ranked higher. Okay? Cool. All right, in our next lecture, we're going to take a little review over the things that we covered in this particular website of looking at plumber, Dean's Professional Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Drain Cleaning in the Minneapolis area. And we'll just kind of review some of the things that we found and how we can make those things better. So let's continue to the next lecture.